Hey guys, welcome to R&L Homestead. Before we get started, go down there, like, subscribe, hit that little bell button. Today, we are going to have Brandon Sheard coming out here, and he's going to be teaching us how to butcher a pig here on the homestead.
I think they work most effectively, but I'm thinking about getting under the skin, like trying to get that leading edge under it, and then like that.
I get it. Thank you. I think it's too high for me.
Do you want me to pick you up?
And if some of the hair is in the way, sometimes it's just easier to pull it. You can get the scraper all the way to the pig into the layer of skin.
It's not very strong.
Yeah.
Do you think it might take a little more muscle?
Yeah, they don't need to be that sharp. They just need to be
Trying to see how
have a good scald. And then once you get a part started, you can just work down from that. Some pigs are easier than others.
Would you say this is a hard one?
This is like slightly above average.
Yeah.
We'll go through the pelvis and then straight down all the way to the spine. And that's how we'll split this pig. And then we'll get tenderloins and some other goodies, skirt steaks out of there.
Look at that on one side.
Okay. Alright, so are the only ways to cook meat. And the way you know what to braise, pan fry, and roast is by what the muscle does on the animal, whether it's heavy use or light use. Heavy use is tough, light use is tender. Braising is how you deal with heavy use, tough muscle, which is what a crock pot does, but artlessly and not as cool as a Dutch oven, your enamel cast iron with a lid. That's where all the tough meat goes, and it's the application of wet heat over a long period, as opposed to an oven, which is dry heat, and a skillet, which is just direct heat, hot and fast direct heat. So that's really the whole paradigm of butchery. We just need to make this fit pots, pans, and ovens, which means if at the end of the day you have a shoulder and but maybe you don't even know it's a shoulder, and you cut it into squarish pieces, and well, it came from the front end of the animal where it's articulated in the front legs, so I know it's tough. And then you cook it, and you can't even remember the name of it, but it's delicious. That means you butchered properly. That's the whole paradigm. That poster that you see in butcher shops with like the denuded cuts that look like they are geometrical basic shapes, an animal does not have any of those. The only way you get those is by creating a mountain of trim for one little cylinder of meat, right? And all that trim is trash, and here's your little cylinder. That does not serve the kitchen, just totally useless as a guide for butchery. It's exclusively commercial. We're gonna generate zero trim. So none of this is going to be wasted because none of it is inedible. It's all delicious and wonderful. So the way that we unlock that basic rationale of separating the braisers from the pan fryers from the roasters, which is just separating the tough from the tender, is we're gonna quarter this pig. And the quarters are basic. You've got the back leg. They call this quarter the leg. And then the loin, which is just the long spine and the muscle that's on it. And then from the back of the sternum up, or basically where the shoulder blade ends, as you'll see, this is the shoulder, and then this flat business is the belly. And if you just make those divisions, right there, you will have separated the tender from the tough. And that's what, this is the only tender piece of meat on the entire pig, by the way. It's just the spinal muscle. Everything else is heavy use. And so it's all braising, it's all braisers. So, but before we get to that, we are going to peel off this leaf fat here. That's what this is, this internal body fat. And we call it a leaf because it's going to come off in one sheet, one big leaf. And so you can usually just eat a big leaf of internal body fat, which is the original shortening. So this is what, you know, what Crisco was designed to supplant and all of the other hydrogenated vegetable oils. This is the real thing. So it's mild. You can use it in your pie crusts as shortening. And so we'll just
And most butchers throw that away.
they just toss it. Yeah.
And that you want to render down separately from all your other
Yes.
fats. You want to keep that separate.
That's right. I do keep it separate only because the superpower of this fat is that it does not taste porky. Which is, I mean, porky is wonderful, but it is absolutely neutral. It's a neutral cooking oil. That's why you can use it in sweet things like that. All right, so now I've got it cut. No, I think you're gonna get it. There it is. Yeah. And just, you'll feel, you'll go through the bone pretty quick, and then just pull up with the saws. There you go. Perfect. Yeah. There it is. So that's the back leg quartered. Now we'll do the front leg. And for this, I like to keep it simple. You can count ribs. You can go in between the 4th and the 5th rib, or you just go to the end of the sternum. This is the sternum. And I think, all right, that's gonna line me up in between these ribs. So we'll do it right there. So it'll look something like that. And so you can take your knife here and just cut all the way down to the cutting board again. And then we'll just saw through the spine. We'll do the same thing. And we pick this line because we are just beyond the shoulder blade. And the shoulder blade is part of that heavy use musculature also. So this is separating tough from tender. You can go through the spine. Beauty. There it is. All right, so that you can even see that's the end of the shoulder blade in there. That's why we picked that spot. Shoulder blade is part of heavy use, tough muscle. So is the pelvis.
So
And we're just going just inside of them to give us the tender loin area. All right, now we're gonna make a final separation between the loin and the belly. And to do that, it's pretty simple because we're gonna divide pork chops from bacon, right? So you can see pork chop and bacon there, right? It's pretty clear. So I actually just decide, let's see, what does a good pork chop look like? How about there? Then I make a mark on the skin. And then I'm gonna flip it around and do the same thing on this side. What is a good, there's pork chop, there's bacon. And I usually leave a little tail of bacon, like 1.5 inches or so, on the pork chop. Now I've got 2 lines on the skin. Move this under. There we go. 2 lines on the skin. Now all you have to do is connect the dots, right? And you'll just go in between ribs, and then you go all the way through right here, through the belly, and finish that way. And then we'll zip 1 rib at a time. Nice. There you go, it's probably no more ribs there, which is the last tail end of the belly. There we go, beautiful. Beautiful. All right, this, where we have gone now, and we have the 4 quarters. So, butchers don't know how to do this part anymore. This has been done in butcher shops since like 1986. So, but this is the most important part because this unlocks everything. You know everything from here on out. You know this is your bacon. This is belly. If you just take out those spare ribs, you could even cure them with them in there, honestly. You have bacon. This is where all your chops or loin roasts come from, right? If you did nothing but this, you would have just a whole row of chops, and that would be great. And then you've got the shoulder. This is all tough and heavily used. If you just went like this and like that and cut this off, congratulations, you have two Boston butts and 2 picnic shoulders. And then back here you've got the ham with the trotter, the hock. There's the ham, proper, and then this is sirloin up here, or rump. And the sirloin is tough and heavy use also, and fatty. So if you have a hard time making roast out of it, you could just grind it for ground pork or sausage, because it has enough fat for it to be delicious sausage. When you look at it, that looks like half and half, because that's how much lighter fat is than meat. So if you're grinding meat and you're like, I don't know, this seems like it's half of this is fat, it's like, good, it'll be delicious, it'll be awesome, don't worry about it. If you do nothing but grind the sirloin and a lot of the shoulder for your sausage, you will have enough fat in the sausage. And then if you salt that at 2% by weight, you have a delicious sausage. I don't care how you spice it after that. Just don't do anything, like don't do bubblegum sausage or something. Don't do lemongrass chai sausage. If you just do normal spicing, but you've got 30% fat and 2% salt by weight, that's a delicious sausage. And if you have a nice fat pig like this, home reared, you don't have to weigh out the fat and weigh out the lean. Just grind the shoulder or grind the sirloin, because it's got enough fat. Okay, do we get the lard on the stove? Okay, cool. And I just do it on low heat and leave the lid off.
Okay.
And it'll just melt.
Okay. How much do I need to babysit it?
Not a lot at all. Yeah, if it's on low heat, we put a little water in the bottom. It should be fine. It'll go through stages, you know. It'll all melt to liquid, and then it'll be kind of white and cloudy, and then it'll get clear, and then it'll be yellow with little bits of floating in it. And we're just gonna take it to like yellow.
Okay.
And then you strain out the crispy bits, which are really delicious. And then you have lard, and it keeps indefinitely anywhere, you know, because we left the lid off.
Okay.
So all the water, which is what
Okay.
you want to get rid of it.
I didn't know that part.
And then we'll do the same thing. You could take all these shoulder pieces and grind them for a sausage, and they would be an awesome sausage.
So Mom, what is this in the
I
pot?
am rendering the leaf lard from the pig. So we just have it on low, and I think we are almost ready to strain it and see how it comes out.
Alrighty guys, so I'm going to wrap up this video here. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. Y'all have a good one, and God bless.